Mental Health, the Up&Up. We're trying to make mental health care clear, helpful, and maybe even fun. We're chatting with licensed therapists, but this is not therapy. These are simply thoughts and ideas for you to discuss with your own therapist and to help you on your journey of complete wellness. You mentioned wanting to talk about why it's important to take breaks.
So when we're trying to get something accomplished, a lot of us tend to just try to barrel right through it. And I'm going to give some examples of why taking breaks is actually going to make you more efficient, happier, and make fewer mistakes. And it's just the way our brains work. It's not we hope we would think this way. There are so many experiments they've done about this. So the first really simple one is eye fatigue when you're on a electronic device. And if we work through without taking breaks, we tend to get headaches or a glazed over expression or basically make more mistakes. And very simply and so quickly, we can prevent that by just doing 20-20-20 is what it's called. So you look every 20 minutes, you look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So that takes 20 seconds. So 1 minute an hour. And again, studies show that it again helps with it helps lessen fatigue. It slows down mistakes. It makes people happier. It gives them more energy to take literally that 20 seconds every 20 minutes to stare at something else.
Okay. That makes sense to me in a lot of ways. I've noticed that when I'm working all day on the computer, it's hard for my eyes to redilate and refocus at a different distance if I don't take those breaks, because they just kind of get stuck.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to put it, is just getting stuck.
There's also a phenomenon, most people don't realize it, but your computer screen is actually constantly in motion because in order to give you a clear picture every second, it has to refresh. And so every pixel on the screen is refreshing multiple times in a minute, thousands of times. And so I personally have actually gotten motion sickness from being on the computer too much and not taking those breaks. A doctor told me that was the reason. It was really weird.
Yeah, and that may be why looking at something 20 feet away, at least that thing isn't moving. So I maybe wouldn't look at a Ferris wheel, just look at a wall. Yeah, that's interesting.
I also think that since most electronics these days are backlit, that staring into a light bulb all day long is probably not the best for your eye, and so you should take breaks.
So it's also very different to take that break every 20 minutes rather than work for 3 hours and take a 15-minute break or even a half-hour break.
Okay.
And my second example that I find fascinating, but I find psychological experiments fascinating, that has to do with heat exhaustion and heat stroke, particularly with the elderly. And because heat can be very dangerous for the elderly. And, if you live in a place or if the weather's hot for like 7 days, or you have a heat wave, which I don't think is an actual term, but everyone knows what that is.
There's a whole song about it.
Yeah, we're having a heat wave. So what they find is that lowering the temperature for the 24 hours or the 6 days or whatever does not help as much as having that person be in a cool place for 1 hour every 24 hours. So if it's really hot weather and you don't have air conditioning and there's not a whole lot you can do to lower that temperature, if you can get into a cool bath and stay in there for an hour, which might be difficult, that basically gives your body a break. And
Okay.
once we have that rest, then our body can kind of get up and fight that heat again. But without having that break, our body doesn't fight as well to be healthy. And having that constant high level heat or stress is going to make us decline much more than getting at least an hour every 24 hours of just being cool. Putting ice cubes on, the pressure points in your body, like anywhere that where the blood is close to the skin. Basically, anywhere you would put perfume,
Mm-hmm.
ice cubes behind your ears or on your in your elbows or your behind your knees or
Yeah.
anywhere like that is going to help. So, or getting into a cool bath.
That explains why swimming helps even if you're out under the sun swimming.
Ah, uh-huh. Yeah, just jumping in that cooler pool. And you see that a lot. I think people do it naturally. People will be sunbathing, jump in the water for 5 minutes, get out,
Mm-hmm.
which again is, I mean, you go all the way from the 20-second break to the
Right.
1 hour break, but all those little breaks help reset us.
Hmm.
So, my last example, I'm going to ask you a question, Anna. Why do you think, especially in government jobs, they kind of say you have to take a 15-minute break and you have to take a lunch and you have to take another 15-minute break in the afternoon?
Other than legal reasons, it's
But
because
why are those why do those legal reasons exist?
I'd imagine it's based off of those psychology experiments you were just talking about. It improves efficiency and productivity in order when you give people those breaks.
Yeah, I say your company, I don't think this is true all the time, but your company doesn't give you breaks because they care about you. They give you breaks because they know they'll get more work out of you and fewer mistakes out of you.
Right.
And you'll be happier at work, so you won't, the turnover isn't as much. And the way they discovered this was then when they were building the railroads across the United States. They built those in like work gangs, built
Mm-hmm.
those, and those work gangs would have one foreman or one boss, and the work gangs were like 7 to 10 people, and the railroad companies really really wanted the railroads built fast.
Yes.
So what they would do is they would give the foreman, not the workers, but the foreman whose work gang laid the most track that day, they would give them a bonus,
Mm-hmm.
money. They'd give them money. So the work gangs mostly consisted of immigrants from China
Yes.
who did not know that they were a work gang, just thought they were people.
Working. Yes.
Yeah, just thought they were working. And uh, how they kind of naturally worked is they would get up, have breakfast. They would work for 2.5, 3 hours, stop, build a fire, boil water, and have a cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would work for 2.5, 3 hours, stop, build a fire. I assume these fires were small, have lunch, drink a cup of tea. Work for 2.5, 3 more hours, stop, build a fire, have some tea. And all the foremen, of course, wanted their bonus. They wanted to win the bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And what they found consistently was that the people who stopped and took that break were actually more efficient, and they could measure it very easily by literal feet of track.
Mm, okay.
So no question, again, with the consistency and the ease of measurement, there was no question that taking those breaks increased productivity.
Okay.
So yeah, so I believe in taking breaks just to be kind to yourself, but
Yes.
also if you want to be more efficient, if you want to make fewer mistakes, if you want to accomplish more, if you don't want to have negative side effects like strained eyes, to take those breaks. Again, my preference would be that you take a break out of self-care, but if you can't quite get there, take a break out of trying to be more efficient.
For more resources, shop at www.upandupwellness.com and hit that subscribe button. If you are in crisis and struggling right now, the national hotline is 988 and they can help you any time of the day or night.